We love dogs. We talk about dogs all the time on the show. Dogs are amazing companions, but with them comes a lot of responsibility. Here to talk about dog bites and the liability. Great to have Nainesh Kotak from Kotak Law back on the show. We're seeing a lot more dogs out there too.
Absolutely, we are. You know, Tim, during the pandemic, the dog ownership rose, and rightly so. People are at home and a little bit lonely. But what we also notice is a lot of first-time dog owners. So I think, you know, just percentage-wise, you've got a lot more first-time dog owners. You have more dogs being purchased. So naturally, the dog bites incidents have increased, and we're actually seeing that with some significant incidents certainly over the past month that we've seen out there.
Who is liable if you do suffer a dog bite? Right.
So in Ontario, we have what's called the Owners Liability Act, and it provides for strict liability on the dog owner. It means if your dog bites someone, the other party doesn't have to prove negligence. You're responsible. Now, the dog owner is defined not just the person who sort of registered that dog and keeps it, but it's also someone who harbors it. So if it could be a kennel, it may in fact sometimes be a dog walker. If they've taken that responsibility over that dog, they could be determined to be a dog owner under the Act. So, you know, that leads to obviously insurance obligations and precautions as well.
Because where it happens too, I think like dog parks, or tenants, like a landlord, if the landlord's not around and there's multiple tenants, could they be liable too?
Yeah, so this is an interesting topic. So often tenants may not have insurance, and they should have insurance, you know, to protect your property, to protect from liability. But where some dilemmas occur is when the tenant owns a dog. The landlord's absent, they don't live, and that dog bites someone. If the tenant doesn't have insurance, they could have personal liability that could, you know, lead to bankruptcies or significant personal financial responsibility. So I would advise, you know, anybody owning a dog, you know, homeowners usually, as part of their home insurance, they'll tell their insurer, I have a dog. But tenants ought to do this too, to protect themselves from financial hardship down the road.
So let's go the other side. So if you do suffer a dog bite, what are some steps to do to make sure that you do get something back in that case?
Right. So obviously the most important part, number one, is medical attention. You know, often the wounds are quite dirty. You need a tetanus shot and, you know, that check for rabies, things like that. So medical attention is the key. Getting to the hospital, getting to the doctor, taking pictures of the wound, and taking steps, I think, to ascertain who the owner of the dog was, get their information. Often I would say, look, get the police involved, because sometimes there's a history with a dog. It may not be the first time it's bitten someone, so they could take steps. In fact, there are penalties under the Owners Liability Act for owners who you know, breach the law with their dogs, the dogs that bite people, if they don't abide by muzzling orders, things like that. That could be up to a $10,000 fine for individuals, or even 6 months in jail. You know, obviously that would take a history to get to that level. So I think getting the police involved, documenting your injuries, witnesses are important as well.
An estimated 500,000 dog bites a year in our country?
Yeah, there's a lot. Now, just remember, some of those might be nips. Some of them could be more serious. You know, it really depends. And let's put it quite frankly. It's often, you know, most dog owners are very careful. They socialize their dogs and really love their dogs, and they become part of our community, and it's lovely, right? But there are some maybe, you know, who are not doing the right things in terms of socializing their particular breed that they have. And, you know, that's where I think some of the issues with dog bites happen.
Always bringing a great perspective to so many different topics, and make sure that you're covered, and to make people that they're safe out there when it comes to your dog. Nainesh Kotak, back on the show. These months are flying by. We'll see you in June. Coming up, More Money Live on your Wednesday, last day of May. After this.